Birmingham. Where's it? Tire. Yeah. Tire. Is that a hot dog? It doesn't look like a hot dog. Texas, ikke noget med kunne tage det, hvad er det faktisk bare det? Hvad er det faktisk bare det? Hvad er det faktisk bare det? Hvad er det Texas? Keep what?
Blaney has spent only half the season at McLaren and is already planning to jump ship to HMS. HMS is yet to announce who Blaney will replace, but rumors are that both Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott are considering to move away from the team if performance continues to struggle. There you have it, the big news. Elliott and Larson both could potentially be leaving Hendrick Motorsports at the end of this season, so stay tuned for that. I will have a lot of news. I mentioned earlier that there's going to be a lot of Hendrick Motorsports news on the way, and as of right now, it looks like I and Alex Bowman are going to remain at HMS next season. We'll have to wait and see what happens. Anything can happen, but we were now here in the Dirt Series, the NASCAR Legends Series, of course, where I go up against NASCAR Legends as well as some content creators and a few of the guys that have done some tremendous painting work for myself here in the past as well. So having some fun here at the Charlotte Dirt Track, and actually I was not a fan of this racetrack whatsoever. I was actually having a horrendous performance here in the Charlotte Dirt Track. Now you can see that on display right here now as you can do on to lap 3, and I was only running about P15, and positions get shuffled around so much here at the dirt track because everyone is just all over the place. The AI is very crazy when it comes to this racetrack. As I was trying to make a pass here on Jeff Gordon, like I said though, everybody was all over the place, so it was a up and down race for us. Now, a little bit later towards that halfway point, I'm just running right into the side of Jeff Gordon right here now. So, I mean, I'm not wasting any time trying to work my way through the field, of course, but it was definitely a rough one to say the least here. Now, as I came to the finish line with 7 laps to go on the stage, and now we're only up into B12. Well, it's now working on Kyle Busch, trying to complete the pass on him as we went down into turn 1. Ryan Newman was once again in position to win. This time, though, he was under pressure from both Travis Brown as well as Kyle Larson. Now with 4 laps to go, Kyle Larson leading the way out of turn 4, but Newman was all over the back of him, putting on a ton of pressure, and sure enough, now as we came through to 2 laps to go, Newman back up front as I'm battling Kyle Busch for that last spot inside of the top 10, and now we come through to the final lap, and Ryan Newman once again is now going to win 4 for 4, so 4 races complete in the series, 4 wins for Ryan Newman, and now he is obviously locked in the playoffs as I'm side by side with Jeff Gordon trying to get into the top 10, but it's not going to happen as we exit turn 4. We're going to have to instead settle for an 11th place finish here in the Freightliner 100. So I mean, overall, a good result for us. I guess a decent result. I mean, I'm not a great dirt racer, so I was pretty happy with that. Kyle Larson second, Travis Brown, David Schoenhaus third and fourth. Then you have Jeff Gordon there in the top 10. Content creators, Schoenhaus and Travis Brown the best. There's got Michael Cozy Jr. there in P15. He was up inside the top 10, but then he kind of fell down towards the end now, as you saw him all the way outside of the top 10 there in P15. So rough day for him as he's trying to rebound towards the playoffs. Now we come through into the Gander RV and Outdoors Trucking Series race here at Texas Motor Speedway. Though, as you guys know, every time we have a truck race, we have a subscriber in the truck for us. And this time out, we have Jacko G. Pass on him as well, and then we come through now to the final. Very quick, so he had a lot of speed in this number 77 G Fuel truck. It just wasn't looking great, of course, in terms of the timing that we had. And we come through towards the final lap of this race, and now he's on the inside of the 98 Enfinger. Actually put Enfinger in the wall there, trying to get in front of him now. But I mean, we all both kept it straight here as he came to turns 3 and 4 for the final time. And it was still going to be a decent result, actually. Now, as he was going to come through out of turn 4 down the front straightaway to still at least rebound to a top 10 finish in the Speedcast.com 400 here at Texas Motor Speedway. He ate there in the the race, of course, doesn't do much for us in terms of the playoff situation, but nonetheless, a very strong rebound there from Jack OG as Ben Rose picks up the race victory. So a race win for him, putting himself inside of the playoffs. And actually, we go to Texas Motor Speedway in the Cup Series as well in this episode, so keep that in mind. Every time we come to Texas in the Cup Series, I never really have a good race, so it's really down to if it stays long. If we get a bunch of short runs, I have no chance at Texas Motor Speedway. So I was hoping that it was going to stay long in that race. But we'll come through now into the Xfinity Series here at Michigan with Paul Menard behind the wheel, and actually a similar situation. He started at the back of the field once again, just like we did in the Truck Series. So he had a lot of work to do here at a track that's even tougher to pass, at least in NASCAR Heat 5, than it is compared to the Truck Series at Texas Motor Speedway. So Paul trying to work his way forwards here as he goes down into turns 3, making some 3 wide, even some 4 wide moves in here and there if he needed to do that now as he came through at a turn 4. Just making that inside line work as he actually goes 3 wide in the middle, makes some contact with the 5 of Matt Bowes as he's splitting through there, going 4 wide, I believe, there through the tri-oval now. So he was moving his way forwards really quickly, really well, once again, just like we were actually in the truck race. But once again, it was one of those situations where there just wasn't enough time to get themselves up in the mix. So we come through a little bit later. He's now passing the 68 of Brandon Brown. He was closing in towards the top 10, but it didn't look like the timing was going to allow that to happen. So we come through now towards the end of this race here as he went down into turn 1 of the inside of the 39 of Ryan Sieg, as well as he's going to try and pass that 36 of Alex LeVay, makes a pass on him as well. And then we come through now to the final lap of this race out of turns 4 down the front straightaway. Once again, just like the Truck Series, a solid rebound to say the least now as came through to cross the line right behind that 11 there of AJ Allmendinger, and we managed to finish inside the top 10. And I accidentally changed the name not to Paul Menard but to my own name, but of course you still know it is Paul Menard behind the wheel there of that number 77 Menards Camaro. Just ignore the fact that it says Gary Owen there as you see the rest of the finishing order here on your screen. So Speedway, you see that we actually had 2 drivers now starting at the back, and that is Austin Dillon, who failed a pre-race inspection, and Chase Briscoe, who crashed during qualifying. So both him and the 3 car at the very back of the field here as we get ready to take the green flag. On the outside, alongside the number 42 of Tyler Reddick. It was not a good qualifying effort for ourselves as we start in the midfield, but now the green flag is up for the Texas O'Reilly Auto Parts 500, and we are underway here for what is one of the longest mile-and-a-half races on the season here. Texas Motor Speedway, a very unnecessarily long race to say the least here now as we go down into turns 1. Keselowski up our inside. He's been really the face of Stewart-Haas Racing so far this season. He was off to actually a very rough start, but then he picked up a victory at Richmond, and then he's been doing very strong ever since then. Now, as I'm getting aggressive here, 3 wide on the outside as we go down into turn 3, I thought, you know what, if we're going to be forced to the top, we might as well just try and make it the work the best we can instead of just trying to force ourselves down to that inside. But unfortunately, as we came through to complete the first lap here, it really wasn't working like I had hoped. We were making ground up here, but the guys on the inside were also making up a bunch of ground on myself. So we really weren't gaining much overall here as we came through out of turn 2 side by side with that 0-2 of Eric Jones now. So I'm going to try and slide down in front of him, but unfortunately Cole Custer was so slow that I couldn't get that opportunity to jump down. So we're still stuck here on the top. Eventually I would get down though behind Austin Cindric as we came through to start the 3rd lap. Now up the inside of Cole Custer as we came through out of turns 2, and we are going to be able to get past him just about, and sure enough we would get clear of him. We would pass Zane Smith, and then we were up the inside of Eric Jones in that 0-2 car here as we went down into turns 1, and we passed him as well. So now up to 17th place, but then here comes William Byron in the 88 Liberty University car. He would get past myself, and now I'm trying to just kind of stay in behind him and follow him through the order as well here as we were up now the inside of Christian Eckes as we go down towards the turns 1. Eckes had a very strong start to his rookie season here in the Cup Series, but ever since then has kind of fallen off, and now Sam Mayer, I think, is really closing the gap to him in the Rookie of the Year battle. battle as I'm up the inside there and passing now the 99 of Sam Mayer. As we exit turns 4 sideways there, Bubba Wallace now gets up my inside. We had a bit of a moment last episode with Bubba where we made some contact, he ended up crashing, and then he actually was 3 wide right there, forced out in the middle, and that allowed Larson to get past him. And then next thing you know, I passed Chase Elliott using the outside, and then we get up the inside of Tyler Reddick into turns 3, and now we are going to move up into the 12th spot here as we come to turns 4, and then we waste no time on making a pass on the number 16 of Justin Haley there. So we pass him, and then a little bit later now on 13, we actually drove away from those guys, but Daniel Suarez for the Going Racing car actually ran myself down. I let him go into turns 1. Now there's trouble up ahead though. Austin Cindric goes crashing into the outside wall. Well, clearly he blew a tire or something. Caution comes out, and then my car actually gets into the back of the 4 of Haley Deegan just a little bit, and I immediately knew that that was probably going to mean that once we get going here for this restart, the car is not going to take off whatsoever. So that was, of course, a little bit of a concern here as you see the rest of the current running order on your screen. So, I mean, a solid start nonetheless for us as we were able to work our way up into P11, but unfortunately, like I said, we know we don't have short run speed, so I was a little bit disappointed that we had that caution. So now we'll get ready to go green though from P11, just where we came into the pit lane as well, right behind that number 4 car of Haley Deegan. And sure enough, as we get through the gears, you can see the car does not take off whatsoever. So I pull it to the left, but I look behind myself in my rear view mirror, and some other cars had the same issue. Larson and Bubba Wallace both did not take off very well. They still take off better than myself, but definitely we could have lost a lot more positions than we actually did right there. But fortunately, those guys behind us also had really poor restarts. So we only lose maybe, 4 or 5 positions or so. So as we go down into turns 3, Elliott on my outside, Noah Gragson currently leading the way over Denny Hamlin. He was able to take the lead there. Now as we come to turn 4, the less than 10 laps to go already here in this first and opening stage from Texas Motor Speedway. And now it was looking like we probably weren't going to be able to get stage points because we were losing ground. Bubba Wallace, he was continuing to march his way through the field. He had a very strong car in Darlington. Some bad luck put him in the 30s after some strategy and whatnot. But now I would actually end up getting passed by Matt DiBenedetto, and we cut straight through to the final lap because after I got passed by DiBenedetto, that was it for the rest of the stage. They all drove away from me. I'm running here in P16 as we came through out of turns 2 down this back straightaway for the final time. Denny Hamlin actually took the lead back from Noah Gragson, so he was going to come through to win this first and opening stages and go down into 3 and 4 for the final time. Austin Dillon behind us says actually I make a mistake there, clip that apron as we come through out of turns 4. It's a little bit of a slip up, and then actually get to the outside wall on the exit of turns 4, making it even worse.